All right, well, let's go to a few updates that we do have for you before we move on to the callers. And it is starting off with Harry Kane, as what Simeon mentioned a moment ago. James Ollie says that Bayern have sent an offer of totalling of 120 million euros to Tottenham for Harry Kane. It is their final offer. Florian Plettenberg has said that Bayern are uncertain whether Daniel Levy would respond to the offer today. There's no talk of a deadline. Decision expected in the next few hours up until the weekend. So what do you make out of that?
I think it's interesting that he's denying the deadline, whereas a lot of multiple sources are saying there is a deadline of tonight. So is that Bayern backtracking? Because he's kind of been the voice and the mouthpiece of Bayern Munich throughout this whole thing. So is that Bayern Munich backtracking on this deadline because they still think there's a lot more posturing to do and they don't want to scupper the deal, and they know if they put the deadline that would scupper the deal? So maybe that's a bit backtracking. If James Ollie is right in that figure, 120 million euros, which is 85 million up front plus add-ons, taking it to over 100 million pounds, I think that's a good offer, to be honest, as long as the add-ons are achievable. But when it comes to what Plettenberg is saying, look, he's been very confident throughout this whole window that this is happening. Now he's saying he's unsure if Levy's going to entertain the offer they've put in. If he's saying that, that does make me suggest that maybe it's not as strong as what James Ollie is saying. But he also did say before they are confident that Levy is going to accept the deal. So it's a weird one on Plettenberg. He flips and flops a lot. Yeah,
yeah, he does, to be honest. But look, if it is that figure, I do expect it to get accepted.
What would you say if Levy rejected that offer?
I'd say bloody fair play. You know, you're rejecting 120 million euros for a guy that's got what? Yeah, look, he's not just a guy. Just put it out. He's not just a guy, but with 1 year left in his contract, I mean, I would say fair play to that.
Would you be happy with him, or would you criticise him for rejecting it?
I'll probably have a bit of both to say, to be honest, because I'd criticise in a sense that it's a massive fee. I don't think you're going to get more than that. And in a year's time, we could really be regretting that if he does go for free, especially if he goes to a Premier League team. But on the flip side of that, everyone criticises Daniel Levy for focusing on money too much. And now here, money is staring you at the face, 120 million euros. And it's either that or you get nothing in a year's time. I mean, I don't know. It's a hard one. But I think you've got to give criticism and probably positive reaction both ways, to be honest.
I think if he was to reject that offer, I think I'd have a bit of respect. I'd have some sort of respect for him that he's kind of sticking to his price tag, and for a player that is so valuable to this football team, he's almost like a priceless player. So you know that no money really is going to compensate what you're losing, but the fact of the matter is we're only going to have guaranteed a year of it. So I would have a kind of a begrudging respect for the fact that he's turning down that kind of offer just because it's Harry Kane. Because I think if it was any other player, like who didn't have that connection, he probably accepts it. But because Harry Kane has such a big connection with Tottenham, it's the only reason he would decline that offer. But I also think if Harry Kane is if I'm Harry Kane and I do want the move and Bayern have put that offer, I think he might have a bit of a right to be like, look, that's a fair offer, Daniel. I think it's time to accept it and we can all move on. As much as he doesn't want to cause a ruckus or cause any problems with Levy in the club. And I think if the offer is rejected, he would knuckle down and be professional and be back to his best. I could understand if there's especially beginning of the season, there's a little bit of annoyance from Kane's camp that bid would have been rejected. So from that point, if any of that seeps into the squad, you have to criticise Daniel for that.
But if this bid is true, like, can you actually see this being rejected?
If that bid is right, I can't see it being rejected. I guess it depends what the add-ons are. If the add-ons are ridiculous, like you have to win 2 Champions Leagues and you have to score 100
He has to win 10 Champions League in the next 2 years.
Like, I don't know what they are. They could be completely unrealistic, and then Levy looks at them like, obviously Kane's never going to do this. And like that then he's going to makes the deal look a bit of a joke if they do that. But I'm sure Bayern are professional enough to not put such unrealistic add-ons in the contract.
Are we sending an agent over to not Arsenal at the Champions League? Is that what we're doing?
That's 100% what we're doing. We know that Arsenal always play Bayern when they're in the Champions League. So Kane if Kane plays Bayern, Arsenal in the Champions League, 100% he's scoring and scoring the winner. 100%,
Hat trick.
100%.
Let's move on and let's talk about a potential Kane replacement. Gift Orban, Konstantin Ekner, who Tottenham tiers have given as a tier 1 source, says that if Kane leaves, Tottenham plan to step up their interest in Gift Orban, the 21-year-old Ghent striker, in addition to signing Alejo Veliz, the 19-year-old Rosario's striker. Tottenham believe a deal can be agreed for around £20 million. So, I mean, get him in, man. I've been banging on about this guy for so long. I really believe in his talents, and I would love to see him at the club.
Yeah, I'd be happy. I mean, I wouldn't say I'd be like climbing up the walls if we replaced Kane with a player who's only played 15 games in the Belgian league in his career. As much as I do believe
22 games, please.
All right, as much as I do believe this guy clearly has potential and he's clearly exploding right now and he's scoring lots of goals and his data looks pretty good as well. This is how the fact of the matter is you're replacing Harry Kane, a seasoned professional, gets 20 goals a season with his eyes closed. You're replacing him with a guy who's 21 years of age and has played 22 games in Belgium. Now, caveat with that, where he's played 22 but scored 16 or 17 goals. 21 goals. There you go. Is that including Conference League?
Including all, that's all competitions.
That's all competitions. Okay. So look, that's impressive, but I wouldn't say that I'm convinced that signing him is going to be the long-term solution for Spurs. But at 20 million with that record, I'm willing to give it a go. But I'm not sitting here saying I'm so excited. I'm convinced this guy is the future. I'm not yet, but I think he's clearly a guy I'm willing to give a go with Richarlison up front as well. At 20 million, I mean, it's not much of a risk.
Trust the data, Sim. Trust the data. You know, we've been going on about Spurs using data as for the scouting and everything like that. We finally started to do it. We're bringing in players like Veliz and Gift Orban, Mickey van der Ven, Manor Solomon, all, in my opinion, data-led transfers. So I guess you got to trust it.
I don't know if they are, to be honest. I don't know if Manor Solomon's a data-led transfer.
Well, I mean, you looked at all his underlying stats. I mean, they all seemed really good, Manor Solomon, instead of the amount of goals he gets.
No, I wouldn't say they look good. I said his dribbling looked good. Apart from that, everything else didn't really look particularly great, to be honest. Van der Ven, I think he's more of a profile fit than a data. I think his data's pretty good as well, to be fair. I think, he might be one. I think our data pick for the goalkeeper was Raya, but we went for the cheaper option in Vicario.
Yeah.
In terms of Gift Orban, I think his data looks pretty good, but it's such a small sample size. You're basing his data on 20 Belgian games. You know what I mean? It's not something you would usually hang your hat on. What is what I'm trying to say. But he does look great, and the clips I've seen, he looks powerful, fast. He's still so young as well, and 20 million's is not a bad price. It's very cheap. So even if it goes wrong, it's not so much of an outlay where you're thinking like the Bale money, where all those players had such big outlays and all those players, and then when all of them failed, it's we've wasted so much money. If you bid 20 million, I think the upside's much more better than the downside. Essentially, I think it's a good cost benefit analysis, and he does look good. So look, we do have Richarlison, so off the back of that, I wouldn't mind taking a punt or Gift Orban at 20 million, but I'm not going to sit here and say this guy is it. He's played 20 games in the Belgian league. He's smashing out, and that means he's going to be Kane's replacement. I'm not convinced by that.
Don't forget his stint in the Norwegian league as well, and his mad goals for FC Bison. Come on, Sim, get on the train. Get on the train.
I'm on the train. Let's sign him. Let's sign him.
And last but not least, Mickey van der Ven Romano says that Mickey will fly out to London on Saturday in order to complete his move to Tottenham. I imagine there will be a medical, and then maybe he gets announced in front of the Spurs fans on Sunday.
I think that's wishful thinking, but you never know. If it's Saturday, maybe that is maybe. Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Let's get it going. But I'm hoping. Do you reckon he starts on Saturday? On Sunday against Brentford?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Maybe against Manchester United.
Well, I was thinking no, but then again, he is going to have a full week in training if he's signed by Saturday, and he's been playing for Wolfsburg in their pre-seasons. So if he's fit and ready, depends how much of an impression, how ready he is to play for Tottenham. But if he impresses enough, which I hope he will during the week, then I don't think it'll be a fitness issue as to why he gets left out.
Well, even if it is a fitness issue, I'd probably still prefer a half-fit Van der Ven than a fully-fit Eric Dyer, let's be honest.
Well, looking how fast Van der Ven is, a half-fit Van der Ven at half pace is still probably doubly as fast as Dyer. So. There you go.
All right, well, that is the Tottenham update for now. If there is any more news stories breaking throughout the stream, we will be bringing them to you. And if it breaks after the stream, we'll bring them to you as well. So